Thanks for joining us for another edition of Afl Riverina TV. There's just 1 week to go in the Farrer League, but this weekend it's going to feel like finals time for East Wagga Kooringal. Joining me at the desk to go through the Farrer League round this week, we've got Scott Burge from the Hawks and Shane Buchanan from Afl Riverina. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Scotty, a bit of a slow start to the season for the Hawks, but your coach, Gav McMahon, was never really too concerned, sort of said, you're playing like a team that just needed a bit of time together. At the back end of the season, you guys are starting to string some good form together. Is it feeling that way, that the team is starting to come together a bit? Yeah,
it's been really good. I mean, through our form of late, it's feeling like we're really starting to gel as a side. A lot of new faces, and with Gav being a new coach, we sort of had to get used to how Gav wanted us to play, but we certainly know the way footy Gav wants us to play. And just the new faces at the club, it just took a bit to get together, but we're just starting to work out how one another go about their footy and how they play and what their strengths are.
Now that it has started to come together a bit, what are the things that you guys have been working on specifically in the past month?
We particularly fancy our pace, so working both ways, offensively and defensively. We've been working hard on pushing forward and also getting back in defence to help out as well. So that's an aspect that we have been working on.
Personally, yourself, what have you enjoyed about this season at the Hawks?
Well, it's been good. Having Gav as a new coach, I mean, he brings a wealth of knowledge. So it's been good learning from him as well, and just a lot of new faces and good quality players at the footy club this year, and it's been good.
As we mentioned, a bit of a finals atmosphere this weekend, Collie Amberley at Gumley Oval. You mentioned how you guys have been focusing on, using your pace. Collie, quite a physical side. How you go about, I guess, nullifying those big men?
Yeah, I guess our strength is probably going to be our pace. We're them probably the most physical side, and they've got the big boys in the middle there. But I think if we sort of keep the pressure on and sort of nullify their midfield and getting the ball to their forward line, I think we'll do really well.
Shana, what do you make of this one?
Yeah, look, East Wagga had a great win against CSU last week. Mark Ebbett obviously in form. Went and watched that game. As Scott said, the transition from defence to forward line was outstanding for East Wagga against CSU. They moved the ball really well. In particular, Absalom, some of the kicks to Mark Ebbett, you'd be licking your lips if you got them each week, and no doubt Mark did. So that's obviously a key factor for them, and pace, there's no doubt about that. Whereas Collie, they beat Mara last week, so Collie now beaten every team. A bit undisciplined last week, Collie Amberley, so they'll need to address that. Things Collie need to work on too. Some of their defensive players need to be, I've watched them a couple of times, need to be more defensive, I think. They can be laxed, and East Wagga will cut them to pieces if they give them too much room to move. So, as Scott said, but Collie's, I suppose, real strength is their pressure around the ball carrier. They will go in and tackle as hard as anyone and be very physical, and East Wagga need to be prepared for that as well. East Wagga need to back themselves and keep running, and Collie will keep coming and coming. It should be a fantastic game, and who knows, maybe a prelude for the grand final, who knows. But I'm going to go with East Wagga in this particular one, and the only reason is because it's at home.
We'll move on to Mara up against the Rock. Mara's sort of been a bit up and down, struggling with some injuries, that sort of thing. What do you make of them with their run to the finals?
Yeah, it's sort of the season's sort of stalled, I suppose, at this particular stage of the season. Specifically Brad Turner. I mean, he's a fantastic player. He's moved from forward to back. Yeah, they're stalling at the moment, and like normally this game in previous years would be an absolute blockbuster, but I don't think it is. I think Mara's form has been patchy. The Rock, I think, waiting for the season to end, I think. So I think the Bombers will get over the Magpies in that one.
Scotty, what do you make of Mara?
Yeah, I suppose it's a bit unfortunate, the injuries that they've had towards this end of the year. I mean, you don't want to have injuries, especially to players like Brad Turner, who is a superstar. But I think that they've got a good midfield. I think they'll still push a lot of sides and come finals. I mean, I think they'll be fine.
The Jets up against Temora. Could this be a bit of a tricky one for the Roos, Scott?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, no love lost here between these two clubs, I can assure you. And Temora, I wouldn't want to take them lightly. The Jets, no pressure on them. Probably waiting for the season to finish last game, I suppose. And look, I think Temora will win. I've got more to play for, but don't be surprised if the Jets have a fair crack at them.
Scotty, you guys have obviously had the wood over Temora this year. What would you make about them if you met them in the finals?
Yeah, it's been really good. We've had a couple of good wins against them, but also you can't take anything away from Temora. They've been the benchmark of the competition for a couple of years, and and they've got that experience of finals footy and plus a couple of grand finals as well. So I think it'll be completely different come finals time, but no, it'll be good.
Last one in the Farrer League, North Wagga up against CSU. North Wagga, a good opportunity just to, I guess, get things right ahead of the finals.
Yeah, a bit like East Wagga last week, I suppose. You know, just get some your game plan sorted out, making sure you're doing the right things, running to the right areas. And CSU, Brett Garraby just can't wait to probably 4:30 and it's all over, and the boys will probably go and have a refreshment. And thank God the year's over.
Mad Monday time. We'll take a look at the GrainCorp Player of the Year standings in the Farrer League. Obviously, Collie Amberley out in front, Drew Kenner and Dean Pound. Dean polled 6 votes at the weekend. Could now catch Drew. What do you make of that one?
Yeah, Drew Kenner, he's been out in front for a number of rounds now, and it just goes to show Dean Pound how important he is to Collie Amberley. But even individual awards like this, he's breathing down his neck, and with 1 round to go, yeah, it's very interesting at the top there at the moment. And the other notable one there is Ben Absalom as well. He was in red-hot form also on the weekend. So, look, all goes well for the leaderboard there, and looks like Collie may have the winner come 4:30 on Saturday night.
Scotty, quite a few East Wagga players in there, Absalom, Bridie, Geppert. How important are those 3 blokes heading into finals for you?
Yeah, well, those 3 there, they're in the top 10 players for a reason. That they are quality players. Abo's form in the midfield as well as Stewie's been fantastic. Really hard-running players, and Gep, well, we all know how good he is up forward there, and yeah, he's just got to kick goals for us.
Looking over at the RFL, if you go back to round 6, Colin Sandbrook and Brad Aitken were at the top. Now after round 16, those 2 names again, not much has changed. Some pretty consistent performances there, Shano.
Yeah, look, I mean, Colin's been in outstanding form, and Brad, you know, well-respected player over a number of years. So look, looks like Colin's probably he's 8 votes in front there. So, you know, 2 rounds to go. You know, a good best on ground performance can give you 6 votes. So it's still close, but 2 quality players there, no doubt.
We'll take a look at the RFL fixtures. The Tigers up against Gammain, a dress rehearsal for the first elimination final. Shane, how do you think these 2 sides will approach something like this when, I guess, they're going to be meeting again in a couple of weeks' time?
Yeah, good question, Simon. Look, I think they'll rest players, there's no doubt about that. I mean, it's just a matter of getting through the game. You know, I suppose the clubs could go either way, rest players and make sure they're right for the final, or they could go in trying to get the psychological advantage, I suppose. But I think they'll rest players as much as they possibly can. Gammain need to really work on their forward line structures, not kicking enough goals at the moment. Christian McPherson 2 weeks ago kicked a number of goals, but last week struggled up forward again. Jaden Kotzer kicked a number of goals being a small forward, but they need more avenues to goal. But yeah, looking for a winner in that one, Simon. I think Tigers, they're in pretty good form at the moment.
What do you reckon on that one, Scotty?
Yeah, also agree with Shane. I think the Wagga Tigers will get the job done. They've also got a good young side as well. That I just think they'll be too good for Gammain.
Mango up against Narrandera. I think the same sort of thing there. They might rest a couple of players, maybe, I guess, give a couple of reserve grade players, some 17s, a bit of game time.
Yeah, good point. I mean, that's smart. I mean, you need to manage your players. They've got a couple of injuries, I think, out of the weekend as well. So, I mean, you know, once again, injuries do come, and they will come in finals because the games are quicker, faster and whatever else. So they'll need to be aware of that as well. So, look, I think Mangapla should get over Narrandera. You know, disappointing last week. Narrandera had the forfeit their under 17, so there's a few challenges there. So Mango got a lot to play for and should get over the Eagles in that one.
Leeton up against Colin Gully. I guess Leeton play a pretty physical brand of footy as well. What do you reckon? How do you think the Demons will approach this one?
Oh, they might even rest players themselves, basically. I mean, Leeton 2 weeks ago had a great win. Last week got touched up a little bit. So, look, Colin Gully's got everything to play for. Leeton will have a fair dinkum crack with only a couple of games to go, but the Demons have got too many stars, I'm afraid.
And wrapping up the RFL, Coolaman up against Turvey Park. Coolaman looking pretty good. They went through a bit of a rocky patch, but looking all right heading into the finals.
Yeah, injuries. I mean, everyone gets them, but I mean, Coolaman's had some injuries to key players. Coolaman's celebrating 120 years as a footy club as well on Saturday night. So, look, they'll be pumped up for that. Past players back, past coaches back. Turvey Park's season, probably looking towards the end, I think. It's been a pretty good season by Turvey. They've obviously moved up the ladder, which has been a positive, recruited well in the off-season. But probably Coolman's got too much to play for and should get a good win over the Bulldogs.
Give us a tip for that one, Scotty.
Yeah, I think Coolman, too strong.
Excellent, guys. Well, enjoy the weekend's footy. Good luck in the finals, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot.